Doctor. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good afternoon. The Honorable Dr. Tanya Janid, the head of the Department of English Language and Literature, dearest fellow committee members, and our brothers and sisters. My name is Asma Milurawash, and I'll be the master of ceremony for today's internship briefing and Q&A session. Now, as we utilize the time allocated wisely, I invite Brother Ayman Zafran to grace the session with the recitation of Al-Fatiha and Dua. Please welcome.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. O Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, all praise and gratification we devote only to you. O Allah, you who have granted us blessing and grace, light and guidance, faith and health, peace and serenity, and this opportunity for us to gather in the Dell internship briefing. We pray that you watch over this ceremony with your grace and mercy, O Allah. O Allah, the most forgiving, we pray that you grant us steadfastness in faith, enlightenment in knowledge and wisdom, bodily well-being and strength, benevolent and righteous character, and also the ease and facility for us to acquire knowledge that will be beneficial to the people around us and universally to the whole of mankind. And let it be a blessing for us in this world and the hereafter. O Allah, the most clement, the responder to our prayers, once again we pray in hope that you will make this ceremony into a ceremony bountiful of your blessing and mercy. Guide us in our pursuit of our aspirations, in fulfilling our duties and the hope and expectation of our family, religion and nation. Grant us our prayers, forgive us for our sins and also the sins of our parents and all those who believe in you. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وسلم. سبحانك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Ameen, Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Thank you very much, Brother Ayman, for the dua recitation. Brothers and sisters, this session warmly invites the program manager for the internship briefing and Q&A session, Sister Hanan Inshira, to deliver her opening remarks. Please welcome.
Assalamu alaikum. First things first, am I audible to everyone? Right. So, assalamu alaikum and welcome to the internship briefing and Q&A session. So first and foremost, I would like to extend my thanks to Dr. Tanya and Dr. Zurahani for joining our session and for imparting information on our internship. I would also like to thank all the participants for joining today's event. This internship briefing is a pre-internship briefing, as mentioned by Dr. Tanya to us prior, where we would receive clarification on the steps before applying. This is to help our students in planning their internships. And I would really like to request everyone to listen closely and ask questions to clarify any outstanding queries that you might have in this session. Take this opportunity to address anything that you would like to know. So I will not take any more time from everyone else. Thank you, and I hope this is an impactful event for everyone.
Thank you kindly, Sister Inshira, for the delightful remarks. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now welcome Dr. Tanya to lead the briefing session. Please welcome.
Thank you, Asma. Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon to everyone here. Thank you to the organizing committee for inviting me to hold this talk. And of course, Dr. Zurahani for allowing me to speak. We will have, inshallah, we will have a Q&A session with her later on. So she will be able to answer more of your questions. I'm pretty much here to explain to you the internship program that we have at Dell and tell you a little bit more about it, as well as explain to you how it may be slightly different from what you might have heard from your friends about, in doing internships or how to go about getting an internship. Right. Who is presenting on my behalf? Because I'm not presenting my own slides. I'm just wondering, is anyone doing it for me? Yes, organizing committee. Is someone presenting my slides?
They're currently retrieving the slides.
Okay. Yeah, while they are retrieving the slides, let me just tell you a little bit about this. Most of you probably are in your third year or going into your final year. You may even be in your final year right now. And this is a good time really for you to know more about the internship program, because what we've realized is that generally students leave it until a little bit too late. Of course, there are students who try to get their internships done early. Sometimes one of the major questions that we get, or one of the frequently asked questions that we get, is students who wish to do their internships as early as their second year. Some of the students would like to do their internships together with other courses, and they ask us about this. So hopefully this briefing will clear up some of the questions that you have. And of course, I will also be reminding you about the resources that are available to you to know more during the semester if you'd like to know more about internship. Right, so my slides seem to have come up. How do I tell you that moving on to the next slide? Do I just say next?
You can do that.
Yeah, who's in charge? Asma, are you going to be handling it?
No, not me, but you can simply say next and they'll take note of that.
All right, because I think the way that I've set up my slides, the text will come up one by one. It shouldn't be coming out. So I might need you to help me advance the text as well. All right, so let me just tell you a little bit about the internship program, the rationale behind it, and the aims that we are trying to achieve, as well as, just the process of pre-internship that you need to undergo. Right, okay, so the rationale, yes, please, the first point, the rationale behind this program is that students towards the end of their course of study should undertake an internship at an outside organization. And the reason why I stress that outside organization is that we get a lot of questions from students wishing to do their internships on campus. But we really, really discourage students from doing an internship on campus, although we have allowed it. And in the past, there have been, as you may have known from seniors, like other departments may allow their students to do their internship on campus. You may have heard of seniors doing their internships on campus. But really, the idea is for students to, as much as possible, secure an internship position at an outside organization. Okay, next point, please. Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Next point. Okay, so this internship program is aimed at giving students a real life working experience, right? We want you to have that real life working experience working at either a private or a government organization. And for this reason, we actually don't encourage students to do their internship on campus. The idea is that students should really leave their comfort zone. Yeah, and they should do something that they're not familiar with. They should be open to learning new things. The idea behind doing an internship is for you to learn something that we cannot teach you in the classroom, right? And very recently we spoke to one internship provider, one supervisor at an internship provider who stressed this point, is that I know that you're sending students to us for them to learn something that you cannot teach them in the classroom. It's really, really extremely valuable actually for you to get this experience at other organizations, because I guess, having spent time with us for 4 years, you tend to get very close to the lecturers or certain lecturers. And perhaps, in a way, we even though we are a very large department, there is a very, very close connection that we have with most of the students. So perhaps there's a tendency by the lecturers to sometimes baby the students and to go easy on them. And it's really important for students to go out and do something in an environment that doesn't necessarily make this kind of, how should I say, I wouldn't say excuses, but basically this kind of considerations for the students. And for that reason, we want you to go out and we want you to work at a private or government organization to get that experience. Very, very important for you to get that early on in your career. Even if, let's say, your intention is to work at, your family business. Some students may want to go into the family business. Some students even want to set up their own businesses afterwards. Whatever path that you've chosen for yourself, it's really still a good idea for you to experience this. And for this reason, we also encourage students to really aim high. Aim for the highest positions that you can get. A lot of students tend to underestimate their own abilities or their ability to secure a really valuable internship. And they just end up doing internships, or they want to do internships in very, very small places where they're actually not learning. Remember that the idea is that you need to learn something. As you know, from the study plan, the internship is actually worth 6 credits. So the kind of experience, the kind of knowledge that you would gain from this internship should be equivalent to 6 credits. It's not a small thing. Yeah, and for this reason, we also take it very seriously when students try to fake an internship. It has happened, actually, not necessarily in our department, but it has happened that students claim to be doing an internship when they are not. And it's really unfair to students who are actually doing internships and who are very, very, I should say, stressed, and who work very, very hard at whatever position that they're in to gain those 6 credits. So we are very strict about it, and we do review the internship positions quite carefully. Right, next point, please. Okay, so an internship is basically designed, or it's meant to help students identify possible places of employment after graduation. This is a very, very important point to make. When you look for placement, when you're looking for a place to do your internship, please think of something that you could possibly do after you finish your studies, after you have graduated. This should be something that's equivalent to your status as a degree holder. Yeah, don't simply take on any position just because it says internship. And I've unfortunately had students who ended up doing internships at, the most obvious example that I can think of right now is there's one of our interns who ended up working at a fast food restaurant selling fried chicken. And it wasn't even KFC, it was actually something smaller than that. So while all kind of working experience is an experience, and you surely gain something from it, and I'm sure that some of those lessons may be very valuable in life, the idea is that students should add to their CV. I mean, when you go out there, when you apply for a permanent job, a lot of times the employer may ask you, did you do an internship? Where did you do an internship? And some internships are just more valuable than others. Yeah, sorry, I think someone's got their mics on. We're actually hearing some conversation. Right. Okay, so I hope I'm not muted. So yeah, so the employers do look at where you have done your internships, and some internships are considered to be more valuable than others. There is I mean, as biased as it may be, or maybe it may not even be true, but the idea that employers have is that if you have done your internship at a well-known organization, especially at a large organization, the idea is that your internship would probably have been more structured, and that you would have learned more, or that you would have learned more valuable things at such an internship than if you do your internship at XYZ Kedai Runcit or something like that. Yeah. So think very, very carefully and scout very carefully. Make sure that the internship position that you're looking for requires a degree. Yeah. So because obviously you're going to be a degree holder. Don't sell yourself short. And also try to find an internship that will be something that could possibly be your full-time job. This might be something that you might want to do after you've graduated, because very often the employers are really scouting for new talent, and this is also a scouting exercise for many employers to see whether they can identify new talent that they would like to take in. So find an organization. When by organization I mean either private company or government organization. Try to find an organization that that you would be interested in joining, and a position that you would like to do. Having said that, we've also experienced very often that students have different expectations from certain internships. So sometimes those expectations are not matched when they actually take up the internship, but don't let that frighten you. Like I said, every kind of position, every kind of job you do is going to provide you with valuable experience. And sometimes it's just a case of students not really knowing what the job or what that position actually is all about, and kind of like having an idea. And those, of course, those ideas, everyone has mistaken ideas about certain things. For example, if we watch those TV shows about doctors and lawyers on TV, and that we imagine that their lives will be like that. And when we actually do become doctors and lawyers, we might discover that things are really different. And it's a similar situation with the internships, yeah. That sometimes students have something in mind about certain positions, and then when they actually join that line of work, they discover that, oh, it's very different from what I expected. It's not what I expected, or maybe even I don't like what I'm encountering here. Yeah. Having to do with that, of course, the next question would be, a lot of students ask us, can you actually withdraw from an internship? And the very simple answer to that is, if you have already accepted an internship and you have started it, definitely no. Yeah, you cannot withdraw from an internship that you have agreed to do, especially if you've already joined, unless, and I'm going to stress this, unless there are very, 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 very compelling reasons. Okay, I cannot stress the very more than I am. Yeah, meaning that, let us say, okay, God forbid, you fall very, very sick and you need, say, for example, cancer treatment, something that is an extensive, a long, lengthy treatment. In which case, yes, okay, of course, we have to allow you to withdraw from the internship, because even your internship provider will probably not want to have you on the payroll while you are getting treatment, because you're not actually doing anything at the company. So in that case, the internship provider usually will also let you go. Why do we not allow students to withdraw from internships? Because when you have agreed to join someone, they have already made plans for you to join them. They've already made plans to what kind of tasks you will be doing, who will be supervising you, which department you'll be in. There's a lot of plans that you don't see. It's not just one person usually, and they have got long-term plans, because you're going to be with them for a minimum of 12 weeks, right? So they have already made allocations, financial allocations, that's financial implications. And if let's say you decide not to show up, that of course messes up a lot of plans, and they have to, they've spent all this time planning for you. They've actually spent, time is always money, remember that, yeah? They spent all that time planning for you. Now they have to go back and replan and find someone else and interview someone else. And of course, lots of steps that have to be taken there. Right, next please. Next slide. Okay, the aim of an internship, and any internship for that matter, is to make our students employable, to make you employable, to make you successful in the career of your choice. And we're hoping that through this internship, you will find a career that's actually suitable for you. It's not necessarily the career that you had in mind. So don't be surprised if you join a company to be, say, for example, a social media intern, and then you are moved to a different position. Yeah, that has also caused some problems for our interns in the past, that they are kind of disappointed when they apply for a certain position and they are given another. Remember that you are just an intern. Yeah, you're really, really at the lowest rank in a company, and the company, it doesn't matter what rank you are, but the company, unless you're the boss, the company usually reserves the right to move staff to any position. Yeah, so you may apply for, like I said, you might apply to be a social media intern, and you might be moved to human resources, or you might apply for human resources and you might be moved to social media, something like that, right? Or you may even be moved to something that you're not entirely familiar with, or you're not really comfortable with. So, for example, like they might move you to accounting, the finance department, and again, trust your internship provider, because remember that these are people who, they have experience. They have knowledge. They've trained other interns. They are also trained to recognize your talent. And if they feel that perhaps you might think you're wonderful, you are, social media intern and you're doing a wonderful job at it. You might be wonderful at that, but the company might feel that you might be even better at something else. So they reserve the right to actually transfer you. And in some internship providers, they actually do that as a training strategy. They actually deliberately move people around several times until they find what you are really good at. And then they train you for that. Or they may just want to give you overall training with the idea that, the more exposure you get, the better for you. Right. Remember that BENL is a very versatile degree. It pretty much allows you to do anything that you want that can be done without having a specialist degree, because there are some degree programs that are highly specialized, such as, for example, accountancy, law, those are very specialized, medicine, they're very specialized. You need to be an expert in that field in order to work in that line of work. But for BENL, we've had interns and we've had graduates in a variety of fields. And just to remind you, we have a long history. Yeah, DEL, our Department of English Language and Literature, we have a very long history. We've got a history of 30 years of producing successful graduates in a variety of fields. So don't look at your lecturers only as lecturers. This is only one of the jobs that we're actually doing. Many of us come from many different lines of work. So at least 1, 2, 3 lecturers that I can think of, including myself, we've previously worked in publishing. I was a lexicographer. We have lecturers who worked in human resources. We have one lecturer now who's previously been from events management and so on and so forth. So we've got a wide variety of expertise in the department alone, right? Not counting our graduates who have left us over the last 26 years, because you must remember 4 years of study, right? No, I think our first batch of graduates probably was 1994. So yeah, so about, we have a very, very long history of producing successful graduates. And the internship is meant to produce more of you, more successful graduates, and also to ease people into the working world. So the advantage of having this internship program, which we didn't have in my time, and we didn't have that in the past, is to allow students to really, observe and to do something that they may not want to do anymore, if, let's say, they change their mind about it later on, but really just to experience it and to see whether or not this would be something that they could be doing, and to give them some meaningful training. So just a quick question to anyone who'd like to answer. What are the kinds of fields that you're interested in doing an internship in? Who has anybody thought of what fields they would like to do their internships in?
Marketing.
Okay, right. Marketing is good. We've had interns in marketing. We've got graduates who work in marketing. Anything else?
Human resource.
Human resources. Okay, human resources. Yes, we have had a lot of our interns in human resources. So can you tell me a little bit of what you imagine human resources, what the job might be like? What would you be doing in human resources? Any ideas? Okay. What about other fields? Anyone? Advertising?
Editing.
Editing, yes, of course, we can do editing as well. We are qualified for that. And in order for you to find a job in editing, you need to have a very, very good command of English. Yeah? So, and you need to be a little bit OCD. Yeah? You have to be very, very concerned with, the way things are spelled and punctuation and things like that. You have to be very, very sharp as well. So train yourself to recognize things. Right, let's have a look at the next slide. Okay, in the next slide, I'll be telling you about the fields that our BENL students can go in. First point, please. Okay, BENL students, as I said, we can intern in various fields. There are so many fields that are open to you, even fields that may not seem to be directly related to your degree, right? So we have had interns doing things that we didn't. I mean, initially we didn't know why the companies choosing particularly our Benel students to do internships with them, but companies know pretty much what they want. And the advantage of our Benel grads is that they usually can communicate very well, and they can usually write very well. So when companies need someone who can write well and who can communicate well, that's very often when they look at our Benel students. Next slide, next please, next point. Yeah, okay, so our students have previously been interns in marketing. That was the first thing that came up, and it's also the first thing here. Right, marketing, advertising, social media interns. We've had a number of social media interns. We have had interns in human resources, events management, mass media. That, of course, we had one intern who did an internship at the Star. Right, we had several who did other types of mass media. Corporate communication, yes, we've had some interns who have gone into corporate comm, and we've got graduates in corporate comm as well. Now, corporate communications is like a hybrid kind of field. They're really, doing a little bit of advertising, a little bit of social media, a little bit of events management. Everything is there. So if you're looking for a good field to start off with, try and see if you can get yourself into corporate comm, because you can learn a little bit about a lot of stuff. Publishing, of course, publishing books in Malaysia is a very tough market, and there probably are very few opportunities to go into that, because publishers are generally struggling, I should say, in Malaysia. But yes, of course, we have interns who have gone into publishing. And then, of course, we have a lot of interns who go into government offices, who work in administrative positions. And yeah, those are also areas that you might like to explore if that's the kind of job that you are interested in doing. Especially for the government offices, there is really no specific degree that they require. Very often they just specify a degree, they don't care what degree. And the reason behind that is because they just want people to have a certain level of education in order to be able to do certain things. With the government offices also, the advantage when you are a Benel graduate is that you may be the ones who are good in English. And a lot of people at government offices, actually, a lot of the officers lack those English speaking skills. So they might need someone who's very good in English. Something that I've not written here, we have had students in this is, as I mentioned, lexicography. Yeah, so for example, I have previously worked with Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka to be a lexicographer. Basically, I was writing the dictionary and I was working with other people who are writing the dictionary. So Dewan Bahasa dan Pustaka also offers internships, but I believe that at present, I'm not sure whether it has changed, but as the last time I checked, internships there are unpaid internships, but the experience is very, very valuable. So that might be something that you might want to look at. Don't only think of doing a paid internship if there is something valuable to be learned from it. Of course, we understand that, especially if you're going to live away from home, you need some spending money. So having some kind of payment is always better than none. But that should not be your major consideration. Because I can tell you this, in any job, yeah, whether it's internship or working full-time, if people pay you a lot of money, they expect a lot from you. Right, so they want your blood, they want your tears, they want your sweat, and no matter what money they're paying you, no matter what amount they're paying you, is usually not going to be nearly enough for the amount of work you put in. So if people pay you a lot of money, be prepared to work hard. Yeah, not to say that you don't have to work hard when someone doesn't pay you, but the idea is that if I'm paying you, I want to get my money's worth. Okay, next please. This is the one. I'm glad nobody said, I want to do my internship in a school. Actually, we discourage students from DEL to pursue their internships in educational institutions, such as kindergartens, schools, or even, colleges, actually. Simply because, particularly, our degree doesn't actually prepare you to be teachers. And I keep emphasizing this. I know every time we do a briefing for new students, we will emphasize this, that our degree really has moved away. I know in the past we did have some subjects that have to do with teaching, but we've moved away pretty much from teaching degrees. And if you want to do that, if you want to teach, it's still possible, even with a Dell degree, but you have to do an additional qualification. Yeah, you have to do some kind of certificate or diploma that will allow you to teach. So the education fields are actually not fields that would be accessible to you with a bachelor's degree most of the time, unless you're going to be teaching in a private school. So because of that, we will discourage our students from pursuing internships there. Not to say that it's not possible. Yeah, we have allowed our students in the past, we have allowed a couple of students to do an internship in an educational institution, but that came with very, very compelling reasons again. One was that if the student has already got previous background, we do have students who come to us with a diploma in TESOL, for example, and they've done their degree with us and they would like to go back into teaching. So if they've got their degree, their diploma in TESOL, then yes, we may consider that they might want to go into teaching. But of course, still, I would say that we would prefer you to explore other things. We have had a student who came to us who said that her family owns a kindergarten, so she would like to know more about early childhood, and she wants to see how other kindergartens are run. So that would be a reason, but in the end, she didn't go for it. So yeah, just to show you, we don't really encourage our students to go into these fields, because those are the fields that our graduates are actually less qualified for. Yeah. All right, next, please. Important point again. Students are strongly discouraged from doing their internship on campus. We get a lot of students who want to do their internship on campus. I would really like to ask them why. I know it's convenient maybe, but really it's not in your own interest. Yeah, it's really not in students' best interest for us to allow them to do an internship on campus. Because, okay, put yourself in the position of your future employer, and you get someone who's kind of promising, looks like an interesting candidate, and you're interviewing them for a job which requires them to be dynamic and go-getter and all those things that we want young people to be. And then we ask, where did you do your internship? Oh, I did my internship in the university. Or where did you do your internship in the university? Oh, I did my internship in the department. I mean, it doesn't really add value to your degree. So your internship is meant to add value to your degree. Think very carefully. The only time that we have supported students to do internship on campus was, for example, international students who have difficulties finding positions outside, where employers might be reluctant to take them on because they may have fears about work permit and things like that. We've had one case of a student doing an internship on campus because of poverty, extreme poverty. Again, I would still have preferred for the student to find some way to do an internship outside, because I don't think that will actually help the student to get a good position. And I hope that things have worked out for that student. So yeah, so I don't encourage anyone to try to do their internships on campus. It will have to be a really exceptional situation for us to allow you to do your internship on campus. And similarly, we also discourage students to actually do their internships in their hometowns, unless you're going to be working with a very, very major company, or a good, reputable organization. Because that, again, the idea is that we want to give you that opportunity to explore new things. We want you to learn something new that you're not familiar with. And we also want to give students the opportunity to be independent. So very often when students return to their hometowns, it's at the request of family. And I would like to probably say that even though it's something that we don't expect, sometimes parents are not really the people who have the best interest of their children at heart, right? Sometimes family can be actually very limiting. and they may actually be detrimental to your career. So don't necessarily I take that opportunity that we give you. Take that opportunity that we give you during your internship to leave home, to do something else, to work outside of your hometown, to explore things that you would normally not have the chance to explore. Right? And if you need help, if you need us to back you up, if you need us to quarrel with your family to tell them that you absolutely have to do your internship in KL Slang or whatever, we will do that for you. Yeah, we will go to that extent, because for us lecturers, what we want is, of course, we want to give our students the best opportunity that they can have. Okay, next, please. The internship, yes, this is an important point. The reason why we want you to make sure that you work for a good organization, a reputable organization, we want you to make sure that what you're going to be working in is a field that you could possibly go into after graduating, is because we want to allow you to have that opportunity to progress, right? To progress from that position to something higher. So if you're going to take a job as an intern, if you're going to take a job as a receptionist, for example, a telephonist, somebody answering the phone in a company, yes, it's an internship. Yes, you will learn something, no doubt. I've been a telephonist myself. Yeah, I worked as a receptionist after my Form 6, and I learned a lot of things from it. But it's not something that I would do with a degree, yeah, because I would be overqualified to doing it. And it's not going to really help me to progress to the next level of the career. I've learned things, no doubt. Yeah, it's interesting to have that in your CV, but it's not going to really help prepare you for a higher level career. Once you have your degree, you need to move on to to that slightly higher level. I'm stumped when people say, oh, graduates are too picky, too choosy about their jobs. No, we are not. It's just that, when you start out, you try to get the kind of job that you're actually qualified for. You must be valued at that level because you've worked for it. Remember that you've worked very hard for the last 4 years, to get that degree. And somebody who's coming out of school at 17, 18, they definitely do not have that knowledge, and they certainly do not have the experience of the last 4 years that you have. You need to get paid for that. You need to be employed at that level. Don't sell yourself short. You're not going to go from door to door selling, products. That should not be something that you're doing with a degree, not because it's beneath you, but because you are definitely more qualified. You're qualified to do something more intelligent. Yeah, having a degree allows you to do jobs that not everyone can do. And if it's a job that anyone can do, let someone else do it, really, because you are more valuable than that. You can do something that's more valuable. All right. Okay, next, please. Yeah, internships under Dell. How is it different to do an internship when you're in our department? Yeah, Dell, of course, Department for English Language and Literature. And how are we different from other universities, other departments? We are actually very, very different. A lot of the policies that we have in place now are probably something that maybe has something to do with my parenting style as well. Yeah, because I'm also a parent and I'm also the head of department right now. So perhaps some of those policies that I'm implementing in the department have something to do with my parenting style. Okay, first point, please. First point that I make, yeah, in some universities and in some departments, the department will actually go out and they will uniformly try to place all of their students in one organization, and everybody will do their internship there, the Seven Dwarfs, and then they will finish their internship and they will have, they get their results and that's it. Unfortunately, Dell will not do that for you. Yeah, we will not go out there. We will not secure an internship position for you. So you are expected to be independent. You're all mature adults now, and you're expected to apply for positions on your own. What you do in that application, what rubbish you write in your application form or in your application letter, we don't know. Okay, we don't know. Sometimes I wonder, right? But students are expected to write a decent application on their own, and hopefully all of you will write decent applications and apply for jobs on your own, go for the interview on your own, because that's the real life situation, the real life experience that we want you to have. We are not going to be there after you graduate to attend interviews with you, to arrange for jobs with you. And I know that in the past, and alhamdulillah, I think since we introduced this internship program, it hasn't happened. But I know that in the past, there were students who were too afraid to apply for jobs, let alone go for an interview. So hopefully having internships will reduce that. Yeah, it will actually make students a bit more daring and outgoing and, you know, willing to leave their comfort zone. So we will not apply for positions for you. We will not secure places at for all of our students at the same place. Very simple reason for that also is just we have too many students. At any point in time, Dell has something like, definitely over 100 students. We've had up to almost 200 students in one batch of interns. So there is no way any company is willing to take 200 students or even 100 students from the same organization. For this reason, we are not going to find you a uniform place of employment. Right, next. Okay, this is a big question. Students come to us with, oh, I haven't got this department approval letter. Okay, yes, you can apply for an approval letter from us before applying, because I think some internship providers, especially government offices, places like Petronas, they do require it. But you don't necessarily need it for all the jobs. So our advice to students has been, don't necessarily wait for that letter. Yes, you can apply for it. And we need, by the way, if you were going to apply for that approval letter or support letter, we need you to give us the full and accurate address of the organization. And this is very important. A lot of students just give us the name. No, I can't issue a letter which just has the name of the company. We need to have their full mailing address. What is the accurate name? A lot of people get the name of the company wrong. And that could be a huge mistake. And I cannot warn you more about this, but employers do look at that because it says something about you. It tells the employer whether or not you're really interested in that company. Have you bothered to research them? Do you know what they do? If you can't even get their name right, if you can't even get their address right, what does it say about you? It says you're very careless. You can't really be bothered. You just want to get an internship. You saw that they're offering and you're just applying. So you're not giving a very good impression of yourself. So be very mindful about this. Yeah. So you don't need to have an approval letter from us, but what you do need from us, you do need to inform the internship coordinator. You do need to submit to the internship coordinator the names of those companies that you are thinking, that you're planning to apply to, or that you want to work for. So Dr. Zurani has been very organized. She's set up all these Google forms for you to fill in. Right? The first thing that you need to do is submit your intention to do an internship by sending her the names of those companies, or even, if possible, the positions that you are applying for. So because there may be, in some companies, they have like very specific internship positions, like I said, social media intern, finance intern, publishing intern, or something like that. Right. So inform Dr. Zurani first, because there are some companies that we have blacklisted, and of course for reasons of safeguarding the department from being sued, we will not put those names out there. We are not going to tell students, okay, dear students, please look out for these companies. We have blacklisted them. That would be asking for trouble, yeah, because we might get sued by those companies. So there are companies that we have blacklisted where we will not send our interns for various reasons, right? And the reasons can be, and I can share this with you here. I know you're recording this, but I can share this. The reasons can be that we are not happy with their internship programs, for example. Yeah, we might not be happy because we feel that the internship program is not organized, that there is no structured internship program, you're not learning anything, you're not well supervised, and so on and so forth. So there are companies that we have blacklisted. We will not send interns to those companies. That's why it's very important for you to submit the names of the companies to Dr. Zurhani for her to review. Now, she will review it together with the internship committee for help because there's a lot of applications. Okay, so when do you need to, just let me ask, do you know, have you got any idea when you need to inform the internship coordinator that you would like to do an internship? Any ideas, any clues? Everyone's sleeping now. It's Friday afternoon.
Prior?
Yes, one semester prior to that, and roughly before, by what? By week? What do you think? 10, 11? After that previous semester? Week 4, exactly. So you have to actually send your applications early, right? Send in your applications to Dr. Zurhani because it takes her time to review. Remember, she has to go through all those. And if every student sends about 4 or 5 list of 4 or 5 companies, and there's like 200 students, you can imagine how long that will take. Yeah. So of course she does have a couple of people to help her, but still, we will need to review those suggested companies. And of course, when students are not successful, say they've sent out their applications and then they need to apply, send further applications, they need to resubmit the names of the companies. So we're actually looking, it's like an ongoing thing. I mean, I really feel sorry for our internship coordinator because the work never ends. She's just constantly reviewing applications by students. So 4 weeks, okay, that's the next point that I have here, right? 4 weeks, in week 4, yeah, you have 4 weeks of the previous semester. So by right, if you are planning to do your internship in semester 3, you should already be sending or have sent your applications to Dr. Zurhani now, right? Just let her know, because the other reason that we would like to have the numbers early, we'd like to know who's going to do their internship, yeah, in semester 3, so that we can plan how many lecturers we will need to supervise the students, because lecturers are not supposed to be working during semester 3. So all of the supervision during semester 3 is actually on voluntary basis. So we have to kind of approach the lecturers and find out who's going to be around, who's going to be able to supervise interns in semester 3. Yeah. So please do send your applications early. Just let Dr. Zurhani know. Whether you go ahead and work at those companies or whether you get the position or whether you decide not to apply in the first place, just let her know that you're going to do your internship and these are the companies that you're thinking of. It's very important that she knows at least the companies that you're thinking of working with. Okay, next. This has to do with the question of who is the supervisor. Okay, I'm going to clear this up for you, right? By default, the supervisor of all internship students, the overall supervisor is not me, is actually Dr. Zurhani, right? Dr. Zurhani is the overall internship supervisor. She is the internship coordinator, yeah? And she is assisted by other lecturers if there is a large number of internship students. So only in semester 3, when we have a very large number of internship students, that's the time Dr. Zurhani actually asks for help from other lecturers, and we will create a temporary committee with members, yeah, other lecturers as members. There are some permanent members in that committee, and there are some temporary ones. So those lecturers will join her as a temporary committee. And the moment that semester is over, the supervision automatically transfers back to Dr. Zurhani. So whatever it is, any kind of internship matters, Dr. Zurhani is the person to speak to. Yeah, she is the one who is in charge of internships. So when you go to your internship provider and they want to have the contact person, who is the contact person, please give them the name of Dr. Zurhani as the internship provider. When you are assigned another lecturer to supervise you in semester 3, for example, you can then also inform your workplace supervisor that, and there's also this other lecturer who's directly in charge of me at the moment, but the one who manages it, the one who is in charge overall, is the internship coordinator. So that's Dr. Zurhani for now. Okay, next, please. Right, important. What should you be doing? First of all, first point, you should join Dell's Internship Google Classroom. Please do. If you have not done so, please join the Internship Google Classroom. The code is PTR5AR6. 5 or 6. Okay, Peter 5R6. Okay, let's do it that way. Right. Join the Internship Google Classroom. Use the Internship Google Classroom if you have any queries or anything. I'm also in that Internship Google Classroom, by the way. Yeah, and there are some resources there for you. There's some guidance there for you. If there's anything that you feel should be there, and elites, please, if you feel that there's something that should be there, you can also request for us to put it up. We may have something that you want to put up in the Internship Google Classroom. From time to time, we may even post internship opportunities for you in the Internship Google Classroom. So please do join Dell's Internship Google Classroom. Right, what else should you do? Next, you should identify positions and organizations that you would be interested in joining. Yeah. This one you should have actually started already. If you haven't, you should do that immediately. Go online. Nowadays, everything's online. Find companies, organizations that are offering internship positions. Look at the kind of positions that you might be interested in, the kind of fields that you might be interested in, and inform Dr. Zurahani, well, I'm thinking of, applying at this and this and this company, right? So Dr. Zurahani just needs to have an idea. What are the companies that you're planning to apply to? And of course, she needs to know that you're intending to do your internship in, say, semester 3. If you're planning to do your internship now and you have not submitted anything yet, then it is getting a little bit dire, because in a couple of weeks, by next week, 29th of March, if you have not registered for anything yet, right? If you have not registered for anything yet, you will be issued with a termination notice, meaning that you'll be terminated from the program. So if you are not registered and you're planning to do your internship, get in touch with us now, right? Okay, next. Once you have kind of done your research and looked at the kind of fields or organizations that you'd like to join, that you'd like to go into, fill in the Google form that's called opening of application. Right? This is the one that Dr. Zurahani is open right now for semester 3. It should already be available, and you should actually be filling that in latest by week 4. Yeah, so you do that immediately. Fill it in. It's been shared. I think it has also been shared with you in a different platform. Fill that in because that is important. That is the one. It's like the intention. We know that you're intending to do your internship, and we will plan accordingly. So when you do that next, you will be submitting the names of the prospective positions, or you'll be submitting the names of the organization that you have your intention to do your internship with. Dr. Zurahani will then review. Yeah, she will review, and if there's nothing, usually if we don't have any objections, put it this way: no news is good news. No news is good news, yeah, because that means that there's nothing wrong with the company. If, like, Dr. Zurahani scrambles and suddenly gets in touch with you and says, "Can I know more about the internship?" Then maybe there are some queries. And we have actually got in touch with students previously where we weren't sure what the company does or what the organization does and what exactly the student will be doing there. So again, our focus really is, like, what are the students going to learn from this internship? Are they going to be using skills that they already have, or are they going to use new skills? And of course, you can imagine, we want you to get new skills. We don't necessarily just want you to continue with something that you already know. Yes, of course, companies will want you to have existing skills, but we also need you to have new skills that you'll get there. Okay, next. Yeah, once you have, informed Dr. Zurahani and there's no negative feedback, you please go ahead and send your applications to the organization. Just go ahead and send out as many applications as you want, because you may not get all the offers. Yeah, sometimes you get no offers. There have been students who sent a lot of applications that didn't get any offers. In which case, sometimes we will have to look into why they are not getting the offers, and occasionally that may have to do with the way that they are applying. Okay, here's something else. We always tell students, please do not specify a particular period, a distinct date. Of course, you have to specify that the internship has to be a minimum of 12 months. And again, I'm going to stress on that minimum, because there are some companies, and there's some very, very good, lucrative internships out there, including Petronas, that insist on students doing a longer internship. Do not turn down a longer internship just because it is longer. Yeah, the company has to understand, and you have to understand, when we say a minimum of 12 weeks, it means that your internship cannot be less than 12 weeks, but it can be more than 12 weeks. Some companies insist on 16 weeks, and some companies want the internship to be 6 months. Some companies want it to be 9 months. Now, the department's stand on this has been that an internship should ideally not take more than 6 months. But we have had a student who did an internship at Maybank, and you know that Maybank is obviously going to be a very, very lucrative internship, yeah, because it's almost like you're guaranteed to get the job there. And it was 9 months, yeah, and she had asked us for advice what to do. So we had to work it out, because 9 months means that the internship actually crosses over several semesters. And the regulations for courses are that an internship should not cross more than 2 semesters. So if you're starting in semester 1 and then your internship goes into semester 2, and it should by right not go into semester 3. By semester 2, you should be finishing. So when a student has a 9-month internship, we have to get a little bit creative about how we will document this. So what we usually advise the student to do is we advise them to either register late, meaning that maybe they take 1 semester off and then they register their internship in the following semester, or we ask for the evaluations to be submitted early. So we need to negotiate with the internship provider as well. And the reason for that is, as I said, regulations. Yeah, there are undergraduate regulations whereby certain grades, like IP grade, cannot be given more than 2 semesters, and actually, by right, it should not cross 2 academic years. And also, the idea that you have to pay for fees, because every time you're registered for a semester, you have to pay for fees. So, for, students, we don't want you to pay more fees than you need to, because you're actually just doing one thing. And occasionally, if the student is on sponsorship, the sponsor may not want this. The sponsor may actually complain, why is the internship so long? Yeah, so if the internship is longer than 6 months, and even if it's going to be a 6-month internship, yeah, if your internship is going to be 6 months or longer, please inform us. Inform Dr. Zurahani, let us know, right? So that we can adjust your registration period accordingly, and we will discuss with you usually what's the best thing to do. Yeah. So the minimum period is 12 weeks, which is equivalent to 6 credits, because 2 weeks count for 1 credit. Yeah. So you need to do it for your internship at least 12 weeks. Usually during those 12 weeks, students or interns are not entitled to any kind of leave. It depends on the company. Some companies have got sick leave, some companies don't. Some companies require you to replace the days if you've taken sick leave. Yeah, some companies are generous and they say no, that's included in the working days. If you're sick, you can't help it. But anyway, we are not counting in days. Yeah? We are actually counting your internship in weeks. The problem is that sometimes students miscalculate. Yeah? Sometimes students miscalculate and they're short of 1 week, right? So remember, you're not starting from day 1. Eh? Day 1 is 0, right? Week 0 to day 7. Only at the end of day 7, you have actually completed 1 week. So make sure that you don't specify the wrong dates. To be on the safe side, what we do in our approval letter and what you should do in your internship application, if possible, is to just state the earliest starting date, okay? And say something like, I am required to do a 12-week internship, or I am required to do an internship that is at least 12 weeks, so specify the least, at least 12 weeks long, right? And I can begin as early as such and such a date. Do not say, I have to do a 12-week internship and it has to start on this date. Because some companies have very strict rules about when interns can start. Some companies require interns to start at the beginning of the month. Some companies require interns to start at the end of the month. Some companies don't care when you start because they're just going to prorate your first month's allowance. And some companies, this has happened, are very superstitious. And they want their interns to come in on a particular date which has been identified as a lucky date. Okay, so please do not tell the company exact date that you start, but you can tell them, I am available from this and this date, and the internship has to be at least 12 weeks. Now, as to the end date, your end date of your internship, you can take up to week 4 of the following semester. You can take up to week 4 of the following semester. If you have courses, there is a form that you need to fill in, which will allow you to get an excuse from classes for finishing your internship. If you do not have courses, very good. You can actually do it slightly longer. But there is a cutoff date for the forms to be sent in order for you to get your evaluations and to get your grades. So that was something that we will discuss later. And those dates, the cutoff dates, we don't actually know when. We don't actually know when those will be, because that depends on various meetings that the university is at a higher level than me. There's various meetings actually organized to confirm students' grades and so on and so forth. So there are certain dates, certain deadlines that are usually fixed a bit later. Okay, so do you need a support letter? Do you need an approval letter from us? No, you do not need it. But if you do, yes, please apply for it. We will issue you that support letter. But some companies do not require it at all. And some companies will allow you to bring the approval letter during your interview. So if they need it, you can also tell them, if you need an approval letter from me to show that I have approval from my department to do the internship with you, I bring it during the interview, and you just bring it with you during the interview. So that there's various ways of going around it. If you have not got the approval letter, or if you need a support letter but have not received it yet. Okay, next. Prohibited organizations. Are there any organizations that are prohibited for you? Are there any organizations that we will not approve of? Yes, there are. Slide, please. First of all, remember, you are IIUM students, right? So bear in mind the Islamic identity of the university. You are representatives of the university. You will always represent the university. From the day that you graduate, you will be a representative forever, right? Sometimes even if you don't graduate, you fail, you'll still be a representative because you've been here, right? So, but anyway, if you are, I don't want anyone to fail. If you are going to be an intern under IIUM's name, you represent the university. Therefore, we are very, very particular about the kind of organizations that you work with. And if these organizations do not fall in line with the Islamic identity of the university, obviously we cannot approve. Similarly, we would like to remind all students that you are still students of the university during the time that you do your internship. So the normal rules, dress codes, all of that applies to you while you're doing internship. Please, I do not want to have feedback from the employers that you presented yourself very differently at the interview, but then when you come to work, you're suddenly coming with orange hair and pink fingernails and all that, and this is not what they expected. Every company has its own culture, its own identity, and they are looking for certain people, and they will want to have certain people who present themselves in a certain way, right? So similarly, like our university has the Islamic culture. It's a very different Islamic culture from maybe some other Islamic universities or Islamic educational institutions out there, right? Every organization has their own culture, and they are looking for certain people. So don't suddenly come and change completely or something like that while you are there. If you do, you'll do that after you've finished. But I still would think that you carry this identity with you for the rest of your life. So be respectful of it. Right, next. What are the other organizations or positions that we will not approve of? Okay, anything that is clearly haram, obviously, we are not going to approve, right? And for your own safety, for God's sakes, people, avoid jobs that are only advertised on Facebook. Some dodgy advertising. There have been students who were, unfortunately, almost scammed into a job, right? And you read a lot online about people who end up being trafficked to Indochina and to other countries. So please be careful. Apply to reputable companies. There are lots and lots of reputable companies. If you apply to a company, make sure that it's Googleable, right? Look it up, because we do the same thing when we review your applications. Dr. Zurhani, myself, the committee, we actually Google those companies to see whether they are authentic and genuine, if we've never heard of them, right? So do your due diligence. Do check on those companies that you're applying to, and make sure that you get a job with a reputable company. So anything that's clearly haram, obviously, human trafficking would definitely be haram, gambling and all that, right? That will be haram. So we will not allow you to join those kind of companies. So it's for that matter, if you are involved in in companies that are manufacturers of goods that we consider haram, which is in the next point, we will not permit you to work, for example, with cigarette manufacturers, alcohol manufacturers. We have previously turned down students who wanted to do their internship at a theme park because they didn't realize that actually the theme park is linked to a company that also owns a casino, right? So which is gambling. So we won't allow you to do internships in places like that. Of course, anything that is immoral, unethical, we do not want our interns to be mixed up in things like that, because I don't know whether you've been reading the news, but there have been people who were, arrested for like being involved in illegal cryptocurrency mining and stuff like that, right? So we don't want you to get arrested. We don't want bad things to happen to you. This is also part of our responsibility as your educators, that we will safeguard you. Actually, you are pretty much under our care while you are doing your internships. So of course we have to be responsible for you. And there have been interns in the past who unwittingly ended up in positions which they thought were internships, but actually turned out to be like door-to-door sales. It was almost like a religious cult that they were, Islamic religious deviant teaching that they were involved in, that were selling door-to-door, doing door-to-door sales. And you're not learning anything valuable from this kind of internships. Of course, you're also putting yourself in danger. Okay, next, please. Another one, next one, because we've finished that one. Okay, what happens if you have already started your internship and then you discover that, this company is not what I thought it was. It is actually involved in something illegal, unethical, immoral. Please, if anything like that happens, God forbid, but if you find yourself in that situation, get in touch with us, get in touch with Dr. Zurhani, get in touch with the lecturer in charge of you, get in touch with me if you have to, get in touch with us immediately and let us know. And this has actually happened more times than you think, where students came to us saying that I'm not sure, but, and it's interesting how they understate this, because you think that students come saying, oh, help, get me out of here, but the ones who come to us who are not sure, they're really not sure whether or not they have a reason for complaining. And when we go over what they say, we discover that indeed, you should not be in this company. So the kind of unethical, let me give you an example of the kind of unethical internship providers that we've come across. Unethical, such as internship providers that are providing a service, but they expect their staff to create fake social media profiles, to give fake reviews, to artificially give them good rankings, okay, and good ratings. That's of course very unethical. We've had an intern complaining that her company required interns to create fake personas, to sign documents, to claim for false, to make false claims from the government even, not just from private people, but from the government. So they actually get money from the government. They make the intern sign. And we told our intern, no, don't do it, because you might get in trouble. You might get arrested. This is wrong. This is something illegal. And we've had one intern who was in a company which, after 2 weeks, we discovered that we don't know what the company is involved in, but she seems in danger of being trafficked to another country. So we got her out of there. So there are certain situations, where you need to call for help. And if you need to, please do. However, most of the time when students try to contact us, I need to get out of the internship, it's actually much, much less serious, and very often has more to do with unmatched expectations. It's like they're thinking they are going to do one thing and then they end up doing something else. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. And I think, does Zorani, is she here now? Has she joined us? If she has, I would like to invite the committee to invite Dr. Zorani for the Q&A.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Tanya. So, brothers and sisters, I would like to officially and properly invite our respectable Dr. Zurahani Abdul Rahim, the internship coordinator for the Department of English Language and Literature. Dr. Z, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. We would like to apologize for the inconvenience of the technical difficulties earlier, yes.
That's okay,
but alhamdulillah,
that's okay.
You're here now.
Yes, alhamdulillah.
So,
Sorry, everybody. It was just some crazy thing that was happening. I installed several times. I tried to hook on several times, and I just couldn't get through. Every time it was a failed thing. I don't know what happened. So and then miraculously, I found myself in it. All right. So alhamdulillah. Yes, Asma.
All right, alhamdulillah. It's good to see you again, Dr. Z.
Yeah,
okay, so ladies and gentlemen, so we're going to now open the floor for the Q&A session, I suppose, unless Dr. Z, if you have anything else to add first, maybe we could cater to that first and foremost.
I would like to say thank you to Dr. Tanya for having, for giving, I think, almost everything that you need to know. Okay, everything, in fact, that you need to know about the internship process in the department. Okay, we do take care of our students. We monitor them pretty closely. I'm not so sure about how things are done in other departments, but we do follow through with our students. We have a big number of students, yet we make it a point to make sure that our students are not just lost during the internship. It's really easy to be lost at the time when you are detached from the campus, and then you're not going to lectures and such. But at the same time, in the back of your mind, you have to be aware that you are in a course. It's assessed. You are actually performing for your program, right? And for your graduation, this happens to be the last, if not one of the last courses that you will need to, your last gate, right? Before you actually graduate. So it's really important that everybody takes, seriously everything that you do during internship, where you're doing it, what you're doing, your relationship with your colleagues, right? So your relationship with your supervisors, both in the company and also on campus, or when you're doing it in Sem 3, right, you'll have many sections. And each one of those sections will have an assigned course section supervisor. All right, I'll be helping overall, but you'll probably have a different lecturer helping out as well. And be in touch, stay in touch. Once you're assigned your course section supervisor, you have to be in touch and supply all the things that you have to supply to the course section supervisor. Communicate. If you have queries, go straight there. And then, of course, once you are assigned a cross-section supervisor, I wouldn't normally meddle in. Okay, I would leave it to the cross-section supervisor. I believe all of them are extremely capable of guiding you throughout your internship. But if matters are not resolved, then that goes up to the committee, and I'll probably be helping out over there. But first and foremost, all right, your cross-section supervisor as you're doing your internship in SEM 3. Those of you who are doing in SEM 2, the current SEM, of course, it's just going to be me. There are not many this semester. Most students do their internship in SEM 3, and for obvious reasons. Okay, so the Q&A, questions, you can post questions to me or Dr. Tanya if you've got any questions. I did ask the organizers to make sure that everybody has read form number 1, which is where you submit your intention for internship application, right? So even if you're not asking for the internship support letter, and as Dr. Tanya clearly mentioned earlier, it is not necessary unless you definitely need it. Then you can post put a request in, but you must tell us where you're applying. Don't come and surprise us just at the start of SEM 3 and say, oh, I've got this company, I've decided to take it. And then, if the company does not comply with what the department wants or the university wants, that gets a bit of a difficult thing for you. You probably have to now scramble for something else. All right. So please inform us, right? Inform us. We will tell you, like Dr. Tanya said, no news is good news. All right. So if we don't object or if we don't send a query back and ask, can you please provide more information, clarify, explain, provide more information. If you don't do that, then you know that it's good to just go ahead and apply. All right. At the end of the day, though, even if we have not objected and you have applied, but when you have decided to choose that company and proceed for that company as your internship provider, we will of course have another check, right, prior to course registration. So again, we would expect students to do their background search, right? Do your research and make sure, it's kind of like getting married to somebody. Before you marry the guy or the girl, right? You want to know something about their family, right? You want to know what you're going to step into, right? Because you're going to be kind of like stuck with them for at least 12 weeks. You must make sure that you know something, right? Something that will show you that it is okay to be there. That's something that you like. All right, so make sure that you do your background research, do a thorough one. Don't just blindly apply. Do not apply through a job street or a what do you call the agency, the employment agency. We've had students apply through an employment agency, got a position, and she ended up in a place of selling chicken. And it's and the impression was that she might be in the office, in the management side. Apparently she was there at the counter selling chicken. So we don't want our interns to go that way. So don't just simply apply blindly, rather than sending it to an employment agency for you to employment agency. All right, it's their job is to get you a job, but that's not the point. You're doing an internship. It's your golden opportunity to get a chance to put yourself into a company that will give you the exposure and the learning experience that you need. Okay? Be selective in your choices of where you want to go. Okay? Really important. Don't just go somewhere, and don't just do something that you can already do. Like, say, for example, my niece, she just finished their SPM, so she and her friends, they went on doing their part-time job, whereas doing TikTok influencer, as an influencer, selling items on online. That's probably not an ideal path to go for your internship. You can do that in your spare time as a hobby, but you want to go to somewhere where the company is more organized, has a more structured or more known internship um, program, right? A very organized internship program, not just any company that just opens up for you because they want extra, you know, easy labor. Okay, don't go that way. All right, your chance to go and in the protection of the university, right? So under the protection of the university and under the guidance of the university. So go for companies that will give you that experience that you need, all right, that exposure. It doesn't have to be your dream industry. It doesn't have to be your dream company, right? It has to be at least somewhere that you will learn something new, that you will learn to grow, right? You will adopt or you will acquire skills, new perspectives, a new way of thinking. Different companies come with their own culture, right? Their own work culture. They've got their own culture. And they've different industries would have their own range of skills that are expected of you. Okay, just to add on to the list of areas or industries that our students have gone into. I mean, I would say it could just be anything with the Benel degree. One of our students are actually doing pretty well in as a graphic designer. Okay, graphic designer, and they love it that they don't have to edit her work. I mean, she's just great at communicating. She could put words in place, and she's got such a creative streak, and it just really, really, you know, it bangs in for her. So it's really good. So you don't actually just have to go along. And we've got a couple of students in legal offices. All right, in legal offices doing administrative work and writing work and such. So it doesn't have to be just in you know one industry. It could be in any industry whatsoever. One of our brothers who at the start may not seem very keen to stay on in the company, but then he stayed on in that company, which happens to be an industrial company dealing with chemicals, right? But you know, it's chemicals and automotive industry. It's something that guys like, I think, at the end of the day. And wow, you know, this is a company that is international, right? It has branches all over the world. Okay, it's a Malaysian company that's actually have branches all over the world, and that they have got different departments, different areas of skills that were developed. So the student that were the different skills that students had to develop to be able to work in the company. So from media to human resource to marketing to customer service and all that. But it doesn't have to be an industry that you are already familiar with. Sometimes it could be just a very, very uh, uh, a non-regularly visited company. I was surprised with this one because me and Dr. Tanya, we actually visited this company. It was IGL Coatings, wasn't it? Yes. And it was really interesting to see the setup and the range of skills. And the students were given multiple tasks. In the first 2 weeks, the student was wondering whether he should actually be there. You know, there were like so many things, and you know, you've never done these things before. You cannot expect that to get into an internship having known everything already. Okay, but the best part is the students stayed on, right? As we coaxed and advised them, stay on, you know, give yourself a shot and just go for it. And he managed to learn all these different skills. Had it not been that he had an intention to do another venture after internship, the company probably would have liked to keep him. And we've had a lot of students where their companies loved them and kept them for their really good performance. I think Benel students have a good reputation in that sense. Okay, so we are very, very proud of our Benel students. So, you know, make us proud, right? Go for the internship that will grow you, okay? That will add value to your life, to your CV, and that will open up opportunities and connections for you in the future. It doesn't have to be just there. You don't have to stay there, but the connections that you'll get as you deal with different people, different clients and such. Okay. So before, we just open up for discussions and all, I've just dropped in something quite useful, I think, in our Google Classroom. So could someone go there and sort of click on the latest post there? It's got something to do with my SIP, MISIP, my SIP. So this is a platform that is offered by the government in collaboration with Talent Corp. Can you see it? Can everybody see it? Maybe one of the organizers could actually screen share that page. Can anybody share? Or you can just simply Google my SIP. Oh, yeah, there you are. Thank you, Hanan. Okay, so you can see that my SIP, this is a national structured internship that is through a collaboration between the Malaysian government and Talent Corp. Can somebody click on the link to that website? Okay, so this is a platform, okay, an alternative platform. You don't have to go through here, but there are almost 800 companies at the moment listed under my SIP, where they have actually, they agreed to collaborate with the government to offer structured internships. And most of them, if not all of them, are paid internships. Of course, in return, the government has offered tax deductions for their services for student interns. Okay, so this is kind of like a more organized way to search for your internship opportunities. I would suggest that you visit it, even if you don't like the range of companies, but there are 800 to go through. Okay, you're bound to find something you like. It is quite likely that the listed companies would have a certain kind of standard, right? And we've got an organized internship program there. Most of them, if not all of them, are actually paid internship, and they have an agreement with the government to offer these services to students. Okay, and of course, in return, they would be rewarded with tax deductions for the services. So we are expecting that the companies that are listed there would offer you really good internship opportunities, very safe ones, of course, right? And they're not necessarily government companies. Of course, there are a lot of private companies as well. So please, please, please take some time, okay, over the weekend, over iftar and all, or just while you're waiting for your sahur to end, or go ahead and scroll through and look for those companies, have a background search and see if there is something interesting. Of course, you can still, right? Yeah, feel free, just scroll down. Of course, you can still go independently directly to the companies that you want to apply, okay, to find an internship opportunity. But here you've got a bank of about almost 800 companies for you to search for an opportunity. Of course, there will be different requirements for different companies. You'll have to explore them, you'll have to pursue them. There would be different ways in which you'll have to apply. And of course, different industries, a range of industries. Okay, so please, please, please go ahead and explore my SIP. This might be a really good platform for you for internships in Malaysia. I'm not quite sure if there are companies that would have the similar companies that are listed here would have their branches abroad, for our international students who are abroad. If there are companies in under my SIP that have branches abroad, it would be, pretty good to actually secure internships that way. So that way you've got the companies linked to Malaysia. It's got a base in Malaysia. If there are any issues, we can always go and refer to those companies. But it's really up to you. Okay, so this is my SIP for you, your alternative platform for up to about 800 companies listed under Talent Corp in collaboration with the Ministry of Human Resources. Okay, and after that, of course, you feel free, if you want to apply directly as well to the companies that you already know. Maybe there's a company just right in front of your house and you enjoy or you like the industry, want to venture into that, feel free. This is one option, and I think it's a pretty good option. Okay, all right. So let's have Q&A.
Anyone who wishes to ask any questions, you guys can click the raise icon and unmute yourself and ask away, or you could type in into the chat box.
Yes. Feel free to ask me or Dr. Tanya.
Assalamualaikum. I'm Hanis. I want to ask a question and clarification. So if we found a internship like 6 months, it means that we need to send the evaluation that minimum 12 week to the department so that we can graduate on time, and then we just continue our internship on our own.
That normally would be the case, but can we just check with Dr. Tanya? Do we have any recent updates to do with the policy, Dr. Tanya?
I think Dr. Tanya is not here. She had to rush off somewhere.
Ah,
Yes.
okay. All right. Well, as long as I don't get a new policy, right? Because normally what we get is the DDAI, right? The Deputy Dean of Academic Affairs, DDAI. DDAI is academic, and I've forgotten the long name of it, but you know what I mean. We sometimes get an update of policy. So sometimes they go, okay, please submit your results because SEM 3 is a really, really critical time. And I've actually proposed not just to, the kuliah, but also, the kuliah personnel, but also to the oil, if you're aware of Office of Industrial Linkages, right? Where, if could we have the convocation not in November, but in December, that way it reduces the pressure for our graduating students who are actually doing their internship. And some of them are in really, really good internships that literally transition them into jobs, So we've had in every year, they will put their date somewhat pretty close to the end of SEM 3 where people are still in the middle of internship. And then the department gets chased around for it. Students panic, and you need to know one thing before I can sort of clarify that. You need to know that the date of graduation, convocation, is not supplied by the department. We cannot control that. The university just drops a date on when the convocation ceremony is going to take place. There's quite a difference between graduation and convocation. So if your question is affecting graduation, it will not affect your graduation because you will then have submitted your work, and then when your results come in and they're okay, then you will be a graduated student, right? You'll get a GR status. When you get the GR status, you have graduated. But it does not necessarily mean that you will make it into that particular convocation ceremony. Now, if you see what I mean? So if that date is like on the day of the convocation ceremonies when you end your internship, or it's so then it is really up to the convocation ceremony organizers to slot you in the list. Remember, they have to make a handbook, and normally they create handbooks and all that like a month in advance. So can you imagine the confusion with okay, so so students feel like we don't want them to graduate, but at the same time we really don't have any hand. It's really beyond our control, it's above everything, right? So everything is going up there. So normally this is what happens. At the end of the semester, we have the round of result submission that comes to the due date. Because remember, for every semester, we have got the university has a date for result submission. Everybody sends the dates, the marks on time. Okay, nobody sends dates after. You know why? Because when we submit the results, all right, all the lecturers all around the university, then the system needs to generate your CGPA, your GPA, everything. Everything has to be automatic, online, and simultaneous. It goes hand. So nobody sends, results like a week after the submission, and therefore your results have been submitted late. No, it's not like that. Okay, remember that every semester there is a date where the university generates your CGPA, GPA from all the results submitted in, and then you get your results, your final results in your transcript. So with internship students, it's a little bit different. Okay, with internship students now, because their end dates are different for different students. Some have their 12 weeks internship, but some have job offers and they've got their longer internships. Normally the banks do that. And we've had a few students who actually work at the banks and they get absorbed as staff of the bank. Maybank is known for that as well. Maybank has a very, very good structured internship, paid internship, and then you get absorbed as well as to be a staff. Okay. So normally for internship students, we follow, right, those who are graduating, and again the instruction comes from above. We're told, okay, students who are finishing their end dates around here can have their results submitted to us now, even if they are like a few days after. So we'll just group them into the first round of result submission. So we'll get your results in for those with the end dates just around the time frame of the first result submission submitted. So those will get, if they do well, the evaluations are good and everything, they'll get a pass grade. So they will, inshallah, probably the first, second round, the third round, usually they'll make it to the graduation. But again, like I said, we don't know the dates, right? We don't know when would be the dates. So the first round of results, okay, and the others would be on incomplete, right? An I grade, right? You get an I grade because you're still in the middle of internship and there's still probably 2 or 3 weeks more to go, and that's way too long. And then, but of course, again, there would be another call for results submission for those who are on internship, and that would normally be the second round of results. So normally 2 rounds, at least 2 rounds of result submission. So there'll be another time frame given to us by the university again, right? Another time frame for us to include those who are within that time frame, the one that missed the first round of results, and maybe the ones who are just a few weeks after, for their results to come in. So sometimes we will ask for your evaluations to come in early, okay, just to make it for the second batch. So when that comes in, the results will have to be manually updated by the DDAI office, right? So each and every student, internship student. It doesn't work with all the other courses, only internship, because it's a manually monitored course. Okay, so then you'll get your grades updated. So if you're in that group, okay, and it's still before the convocation ceremony, I'm not talking graduation, before the convocation ceremony, your chances are you'll probably make it to the convocation. Whether or not you're going to graduate, yes, of course you will be. If you've completed it successfully and you get the GR status, that means you've already graduated. Doesn't matter if you're on the stage or not. Are you with me? 2 things, right? Don't confuse yourselves. And then sometimes there will be another call for another round of results for those others, that have like really long internships. But the university decided, okay, let's pull them in together, send in the applications early. So when we can get that in, of course, inshallah, these bunch of students will be able to do that. But there are those who have internships that really, really long. And some of these students sometimes request that they want to just extend it through to the next semester. So in that sense, the students are going to be on IP in progress into the next semester. Remember, they cannot progress beyond 2 semesters. So they will be on IP and they'll be graduating in the following sem. And they'll catch the next convocation ceremony then. All right. So sometimes the panic arises when I want to be on stage with all my friends on that day, and all of them are gonna be there, but I'm gonna miss it. Oh no, Insta photos. Come on, like I've never, when I was an undergraduate, I never sort of like thought even about the convocation ceremony. What I'm concerned about is on my transcript, I must graduate. Because the moment I get that GR status, I'm going to go apply for a job. I don't care if I'm going to go and go on the stage. That one is later lah. Macam nak beraya, nak bergambar raya, right? Okay. But GR status is key. Put that as your priority over the ceremony. Okay. And once you get that, you can start lodging applications, send your CVs around, start finding a job, rather than go sending clothes to the tailor, trying to find a baju that is tuned enough to match the robe. That is another. We need to know our priorities already. As a graduating student, there's some priorities in life that you have. They're really important. And then, of course, at graduation, you'll have the ceremony. Okay. And most likely, the university will try their best to include all the students into the convocation ceremony. Okay, so like I said, there could be sometimes a policy that says, okay, send everything within 12 weeks. After 12 weeks, send in the application, and then they can, but they cannot stop. They have to carry on with the internship all the way until the end of the internship. Do not attempt, I don't know whether, as I came in a bit late, but do not attempt to shorten the period of internship when you have actually signed a contract for a particular period. That is kind of like offensive for some companies. We've actually had companies call us screaming for the dishonor of the contract. Do you understand? So this is not about like me working in my daddy's company. This is like us committing to a team where they have allocated a budget for you. They've got projects planned in advance, or they have really high hopes for certain things. And in every company, everything has to work like clockwork. So when one of the wheels are actually decided to, like the wheel, let's just say the wheel is an intern. If say one of the wheels decided to just come off on its own with no good reason, I just want to catch the convo, and then yes, but you've signed and you are aware of the dates and all, and it becomes so some companies don't see it, some companies are supportive of it. When you have companies who are not happy with that, the department has to answer to it. And sometimes the dean, sometimes the university will have to deal with it. It's really quite messy. Okay. It doesn't reflect good on us. Like our students don't seem to have professional accountability. When you commit to something, you sign a contract to do things, and then suddenly you just want to pull out for no serious reasons. Unless, of course, you find yourself in a hospital bed, like serious medical treatments. Okay, yeah, those are compelling reasons to shorten an internship where you have to go through a treatment, an operation as an emergency surgery. We've had one student who actually had to go through some very, very urgent surgery. So internship date had to be sort of adjusted. Yeah, adjusted. I don't know whether she actually made a deal to come back after the surgery. I'm not so sure about that. At the time when she had to do the surgery, was almost finishing, right? So number one, it's really important that you have professional accountability for everything. So when you have signed a contract, commit to it, put your whole heart and your energy and your focus into the work. It is a working opportunity, right? So it's a working experience for you, professional experience. And in life, sometimes when you start working now, you won't have the job, the freedom to change, have a change of hearts easily. Sometimes you can't do that, especially if you're a part of a really important team moving forward and having very critical deadlines. Okay, so it could disrupt the whole thing. So we've had companies call and say, we've practically denied positions from other companies. We call interviewers from abroad to have this student, and then the student just comes in and say, I don't want to stay online, or I want to change companies, or right, I don't want, it's too far, it's the other one is closer. Those are not good reasons to alter the contract, your internship contract. Okay, so honor your internship contracts. Kind of like getting married, unless it's really bad. There's no reason for you to go and say, I wanna split. All right. So you have to think very thoroughly before you make any decisions there. So those of you who are in the long internship, 6 months, okay, and we have never discouraged long internships, knowing that these internships are actually opportunities for them to secure their jobs already straight after. Normally that happens to be the case. Then there would normally be some arrangement by the kuliah and the department to deal with the submission of results. So depending on the semester and depending on the situation and the date for the convocation ceremony, okay, not graduation, convocation ceremony, depending on the date of that, then there would be some kind of adjustments. And classically, the adjustment would be if the student has fulfilled 12 weeks, then say, but the end of internship is still maybe 1 or 2 weeks after. If the round of submission of results is before the convocation ceremony, then it is quite likely that you will be able to submit the results in and do it and be in the ceremony, right? And there's another thing I want to point out about graduation, okay? Once you've completed, doesn't mean that you'll get the GR status instantly. You have to remember that, right? You need to make sure that all the requirements, so there'll be a committee for that. It's not my committee. There'll be one committee that goes through the graduation requirements, making sure that you have fulfilled everything. And then, of course, there's a list of places where you'll have to obtain clearance. OSIM is one of them. OSIM, the library, right? The mahala. You'll have to go through clearance from all of them, finance, making sure there are no debts and all that before they can pass you off and say, hey, the student has graduated, right? So he's free, all right? He's free. It's all good, everything good, all right? Time to go and step into your new world, new life now. So there's also those things, not just when you finish your course. There have been a few students who came back thinking that they've completed everything, only to realize after the graduation check that they've missed 1 or 2 courses that they were supposed to do, but they did not do. Okay, so again, this is not really trust the process. Okay, the process is not there to inconvenience you or make it impossible for you, but the process is to make sure that you've done everything complete. All right, everything well and everything complete, that you've fulfilled everything. All right, of course, every university would have their own system to, what does it mean to have completed, right, to have graduated. So we have that process as well in our university. Okay, so allow for that to go through, and if don't worry about whether or not, if you feel like, okay, this is my suggestion, yeah. Was it Hanif just now was asking me? If you feel like, okay, you want to have this peace of mind, right? Peace of mind here, not here. Peace of heart. This is peace of mind. If you want to have the peace of mind that, okay, I don't want to be, ending too close to the convocation ceremony because I really, really want to bring my entire kampong to the hall, okay? Right? Then by all means, start early. Secure your internship offer early and get an early internship, right? And the earliest is as soon as you finished your final assessment or your final exam, right? That's normally kind of like negotiated with the department. Of course, officially, you're supposed to start at the start of the semester, but do your work now, do your homework now, all right? Get your company there, right? Secure it, and then make sure that you can kind of like look at the calendar. You have the academic calendar, right? Look for the final exam period, and then at the end of the final exam period, see if you could, sort of like get internship to start just right after that. Okay, so that way you will finish within 12 weeks way before, like 1, 2 weeks or 3 weeks or maybe a month perhaps before the actual convocation ceremony. I have proposed December for graduation many times. Okay, to oil, to the kuliah. I think Dr. Tanya also did the same. The department has also proposed that the convocation ceremony be kept a bit later at the end of the year, so that it gives the students who are doing internship a peace of mind, because they're assuming that everything happens like clockwork, like a course, but it's not like that with internship, right? Yeah, some of you have contracts that are longer, and trust me, most companies would always write in the evaluation when they give us feedback that our internship 12 weeks is too short. And it is too short. You'll discover that you're still in the middle of learning things and alamak, internship ready. I wish I learned this. I wish I learned it. I wish I got my chance to be in this department because, sometimes companies rotate, right? But sometimes you get a chance to have a taste of the different skills, the different departments. And that's an opportunity. Who wants to give you the opportunity if you just walk into a company and say, I want to work for you? And you think they're just going to do that? The only time when people get a chance to feel, right, to taste the different areas will be when they are interns. Because that's when people are training, people are trying to find your skills. So they're not taking you as like a full timer, but really, on the training thing, they're also testing you around. Okay, so yeah, as regards your concern about whether or not it's going to affect your graduation, bear in mind that the length of your internship, when you start, how soon you start your internship will matter. When are the submission of results, the rounds of result submission, those matter. And the actual date of the ceremony, which we do not have control over, that will matter. Okay, I hope that helps.
It's the question from Hanis, right? Hanis Nazura.
Is it Hanis? Yeah. Okay. Hanis, did I answer your question or at least give you hope that there are possibilities that you can make it for graduation? Graduation and ceremony. Ceremony different from graduation. Always remember that. Yeah. But let me just say this. Okay. In any case, the department will always try to push to get all their interns to graduate and make it to the ceremony. We are never in the policy of, we want to torture you or we want to just split you away from that opportunity. So people may not understand that. People may not see the things that we go through in the department, but we always have the policy of helping the students. That's our priority. Okay, I'm trying to make sure that we can do our best to get the best deal, all right, to bring our students and allow them to graduate and attend the convocation ceremony if we can, right? Okay.
Doctor,
Yes.
Hanis, yes.
just now you said about the graduation, right? So I have a senior, she interned for like 12 weeks. And then after that, she said that like the company want to extend the internship, but then she said that she just send the reports to her supervisor for those 12 weeks, and then she applied for the iGrad, and then she can graduate on time despite the extension from the company.
Yeah.
So,
Is he our Benel student?
Oh no.
Okay, then it doesn't apply to us.
Okay.
Remember, the department has its own policy. Remember this, yeah? Different departments have different policies, different requirements. They have got different rules and procedures. So don't compare your internship with somebody from IT or from law or from econs, from medical, from psychology. Do not, because every department will have their own policies. All right. It really depends on the nature. Sometimes, departments have agreements with certain companies. They've already like created a course, not even internship, like kind of like a course that calls it internship. And then the students go into this kind of like training, but actually they're going through the course. It's so structured, everybody doing exactly the same thing, but we're not robots, Benel students are not robots. We are in different fields. You have to remember that you're not the only one graduating. You've got a lot of other friends who are also wanting to graduate, but they are in different fields, all right, requiring different skills. Some of them are in events management and they're already traveling abroad, dealing with events where they are the key, the heart of the event. They can't just simply pull out because so really it's between them and their companies. But when you try to judge, all right, how easy things are as compared to other universities or departments, it's not going to be fair because like I said, I don't make the rules. The department has its own procedure, which I follow because I'm supposed to support the department. The DDAA would have their own rules. They will, of course, cascade those rules down to us. Our job is just to follow those rules, okay? So, yeah, it's really, you know, that doesn't work with all departments, right? Again, please refer to Dr. Tanya as the HOD or myself. Always come to us, put in your queries to Sister Nadira, who might just, you know, start inquiring with the officers as well to help out if you've got any questions, okay? But it's really that simple. The only thing that makes it so confusing for students is because the panel students are so many, and most departments only have anywhere between 20 to 40 interns, okay, in SEM 3. Department of English has anywhere between 100 to 200 interns in SEM 3, and we have the largest interns in the entire IIUM. Are you aware of that?
No.
The largest group of interns are from Benel, and they don't go to one company, all of them doing exactly the same thing. They're in different fields, different industries. They have different start dates and different end dates, right? So they're in different environments. Some of them are abroad, some of them are here, some of them are always constantly traveling and so on. So and that's one. And then to match it up with other departments with 10, 20 interns, okay, it becomes very difficult. Of course, with 10, 20 interns, it's very easy. And if the departments or the students from different kuliahs, they go for training in just one office, do the same thing, everybody in the same bus, going the same place, come back every day, habis 10 minggu, 12 minggu, okay, done, we're done, almost done, okay, all of us are 10, 12, 20 names, zoom, masuk dalam. Okay, but you are all not robots. Panel students are not robots. We're not the same. We're all not identical in our experiences. And that makes it quite complicated. For the internship scenario for Dell, but submission of results very clear cut. When the rounds of result submission comes in, we get the dates, we get the instructions, we submit the results. Okay, so, and there are due dates. And then another thing is we cannot control the graduation date. That's the only thing, the convocation date. Yeah. So as long as you finish your internship, and we have had students who actually are on their 6 months internship, but they were able to, you know, they were allowed submission of their results prior to that. That is, of course, again, instructions from above. Then we follow through, and you'll get it through. Okay, so it's not my rule, not Dr. Tanya's rule. We don't sort of, no, I'm not gonna let you graduate. No, that kind of thing. No, we get instructions and we just follow through. So that's why I asked for Dr. Tanya if there's an update on what's the latest policy. But normally those updates come during SEM 3, just around the submission of results, when the convocation unit decides on the program for the convocation ceremony. All right, so that's when we get all these adjustments, instructions. Okay, this batch you can release, this batch you can release. We're just following through for you. All right, but if you are on a very, very long internship, and some of you actually prefer to carry on to the next seminar, we've had requests for that. You will be on IP, not on I. I is incomplete. So at the moment you submit, you finish. But for IP, you know, that progresses on into the next semester. That's the only thing. Yeah, so please don't compare with other departments. Also, there's another thing, yeah. You may go to companies and the companies will ask you for reply form. Have you heard of that? We don't give you offer letters, just give us your reply form. Have you heard of those? If they refuse to give you an offer letter with a clear contract, do not go for those companies. Okay? Because there are other universities where it's okay to do that. So these students just bring the reply form, just drop it in. The company has no obligation to outline the contract for them, what their deal is going to be like. Okay, what are they going to be paid? How are their working hours? No, they just say, yeah, we agree to take you. That's it. That's your reply form. So they, all right, they're off the back, all right, their obligation is off the back, and you get your internship position. But if anything happens along the way, right, if they don't pay on time, or that the work condition is not great, or something else, then you would be the one affected. So please, 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 if that company says, we need your reply form, we don't give you offer letter, please negotiate. If you like that company, please negotiate for an offer letter and say the department needs that letter. All right, otherwise you'll not be approved. We don't approve any internship application without a proper offer letter. It's a protection for you. Are you with me? It's a protection for you. Everything in an offer letter comes with a letterhead, official letterhead, outlining all the things that they have offered you. If anything happens against it, you have your protection right there. But if you just drop in a reply form and say, okay, and then they give you the thing, they take that reply form, they go, okay, we accept to take you, okay, we give it back to your university, then you can just come. No, please attach an offer letter. Okay, really important. If they say, no, we cannot accept you, we only do reply form, we don't deal with it, say, I'm sorry. Okay, just please say the Department of English, at least, if not, at other places, but the department does not accept reply forms. And this has been going on for years. We've had cases before. This is the reason why things are in place in this way. We've had cases before. All right, so we are trying to sort of like make sure that our students are protected in that way. All right, make sure that you say it very clearly. We don't, the department does not release reply forms. We need a proper offer letter for the internship offer. Okay, all right, your protection. Okay,
Doctor?
that's it.
So I guess I'm not going to open the floor for any more questions, but there are 3 questions in the chat box. So I'll read it for you. So the first one is from Irdina Aisha. She asked, Assalamu alaikum, Doctor. May I know if the internship location is strictly be done in Selangor or nearby area, or is it possible to do it outside the area, i.e. other states?
You do not have to restrict yourself to just Selangor or KL, although it's highly recommended because there are a lot of opportunities within Selangor and KL, and also pretty close to the university. If there's any, if you need any support, you can stay on Hala. It's also very cost effective for you. You can go and have your internships in other states. The only thing when Dr. Tanya mentioned, we try not to encourage students to do their internship in their hometowns, because sometimes it's really hard to monitor, and then of course the opportunities aren't that great. You can do them in other states, okay, away from the campus, right, away from Selangor, KL. But make sure, okay, those companies are reputable companies, right? International companies with a good repo, right? Reputable companies and government offices. Okay, government offices are pretty much very organized when they have their interns. They may not give you the best, most lucrative opportunities, but the department doesn't have any problems with the government offices in the past. They've all made sure that the student interns are always on duty and going through and learning something. It may not be a vibrant environment like in the private companies, but yeah, so the government offices might be a good place if you are trying to do things away from KL or Selangor, and also only reputable companies, please. Okay, not just any company that your uncle owns, or like maybe your mom decides to set up a tuition center and you're just gonna run it and claim it as internship. You can't do that. And trust me, sometimes sometimes the internship committee will just pop up at your door. Okay, so internship site visits are not compulsory because we have a large number of students. We do, of course, pay visits when they are close by, or if we feel that there's something questionable about the report, or that the company itself is inviting us to view or to have discussions there. Okay, so that's the case. And also, don't be surprised if we just go, hi, we're here. We're just in the, we're just in town, in Terengganu, having some keropok lekor. We decided, oh, we've got 2 interns here. We can make a visit. Okay, so whatever it is, really, it's just um, the idea of going and looking into the environment of the students, making sure that they're all right. Okay, we're not going to go there to chase students and all, but really to make sure that they're actually doing internship and that they are all right. Because we have found cases where students were not exactly all right. Okay, so they have been kept there, no pay, no, nothing, no, not even a formality to confirm their internship in there. Okay, this student struggled, stayed there for quite a number of weeks, and then at the end of the semester only came and said, could I claim this as an internship? I said, you never applied to us. We didn't know where you were. And yeah, but it's actually an internship. I said, could we have you a formal letter? And I said, the only thing was an okay on my application form. They didn't even give the student back an offer letter, So sometimes this is a bit hard to monitor and manage when they are too far away from us. Okay, but it doesn't mean that you can't. You can. Just make sure that company is good and then reputable, not just some uncle company or just some company under the tree, like just don't do that. Don't spoil your internship doing benda-benda mengarut, please. All right. Make sure you do things that are good for you. Good for you, for your CV, for your life in the future, good for your connections, good for your skills. Okay. All right. So that's probably the only thing that worries the department when students are away. All right. But other than that, we've had students from in China, in Japan. We had one in one of the Arab countries. Right? I'm not sure which one was it. Oh, it's not Bahrain. I don't remember. But we've had students abroad who are not able to come back, and they're there. They're doing internships, but they are doing internship in really good companies, really paid well. Singapore, okay, we've had one in Singapore. They paid really well, and it's a very organized, reputable company. It's okay. We can do that. We can. At the end of the day, we're going to bring all those applications into the committee, and the committee will decide. It's not really solely my decision. Okay, just I know my name gets mentioned many times, but final decisions, I always consult the entire committee. All right. And there's always a consensus and say, okay, right, yeah, no. Can we query a bit more about this? It's kind of questionable. Not that company. This one looks like what? It's a very weird company. Are they selling weapons? I don't think we can. Okay, so things like that, right? All your applications will be vetted anyway, right? So even if you're not doing it in KL or Selangor, that's okay, right? As long as those companies are companies that we feel would be okay, right? Would be providing you a very good opportunity for you to do your internship. Okay, take this as a step forward for you, not just some, just apa? What do you call the last lap? Okay, people tend to have different feelings in the last lap. Some will go all out. They want to do their very best in the last lap, right, of your studies, the last lap. Some others, habis lah ni, okay lah, all the coursework dah habis lah. So it's my, lepak time, and nobody knows whether I'm coming to work or not. I'm away, far away. It really comes back to your heart, your heart. What do you want from your internship, right? So make sure that you get the best opportunities that you can get. Okay.
All right.
So
Doctor?
can go. Yeah, can, but we'll have to vet it. Okay. So the committee says okay lah. Committee kata, not really. Okay, then we'll have to give it back to you. We'll give you the feedback. Then you have to adjust. So don't apply for companies yang mengarut. Just make sure that your companies are really good. Petronas, offshore. Okay lah, if you are the kind of person who wants to go offshore. Yes. Tapi company XYZ, just established a month ago. Okay, maybe not. Right? Okay, so be very careful. All right. Yes, Asma, I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Okay. So I guess we'll move on to. Actually, it's already 5:20. Doctor, would it be possible for us to ask all the participants to basically, well, for the committee, we'll compile all the questions and then send it over to you? That
Yeah,
work?
but if there are a few here that we can cover, the session ends at 5:30, right?
Reply?
Yeah, yeah. If there are others that are already here,
Okay.
are there a lot?
No, there's another two.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Let's
Okay,
just do it. Yeah.
Okay. So the first, no, that was the first one. The second one is, hold on. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, doctor. Applying internship in education fields is not encouraged. So if I may know, what if we apply for internship for HR or administrative position in school like MRSM? Would it be possible? So either,
Administrative posts, managerial posts, is it?
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. But it's
in
at a school, yes,
at a
educational field.
school. Yeah, that's fine. As long as you're not applying as a teacher. Because we don't produce students who are supposed to be teachers. Our curriculum does not include teacher training. Okay, so it's not appropriate for the department to send you into teaching, right? Then you'll be judged on the basis of teaching skills and such, which we did not prepare for, which is why teaching positions are not encouraged. But managerial positions, management, human resource, those things, yes. But it will not be great on your CV, unless, of course, being in that field is something that you really want. Like your family is into education business and you want to upgrade your skills in terms of management of education, right? Children's education, then it's okay. But no teaching positions. HR okay, management okay, marketing okay. In schools, that is, we've had a few students who've actually worked with the Ministry of Education in Sabah.
Yeah. Can I add to that again? Can I just add to that? Yeah, it's really,
Yes.
really
Dr. Tanya is back.
undesirable. Yeah, I'm back. It's really undesirable, actually, really undesirable to take a position in an educational institution because it limits you later on in terms of when you are looking for a job and you want to go into the private sector. Most of the private companies will then say, well, you haven't got any experience in this sector, and they might be quite reluctant to take you. So don't limit yourself at that point in time. Unless you are going to be a government servant and you are going to work for some, you want to join the ministry or something like that, and you want to be in the Ministry of Education, then by all means, let us know and we will discuss it with you. But really, really, those positions working even in the administration of an educational institution, not very desirable. So we'll discourage you from that.
Yeah. We had a few, but we really much more prefer that you really venture into a more challenging field. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, Ministry of Education we had, UPSI we had, right? One in UPSI. Yeah, one in Ministry of Education Sabah. Yeah, but again, not teaching, so that's another thing. Thank you, Dr. Tanya.
All right. So may I move on to the next question?
Yeah.
Okay,
Last
so
question.
the previous question is from Nur Azian. So thank you, Nur Azian, for asking. The next question is from Aisha Fatiha. So she's asking, would it be okay if she mentioned that her internship period start from early July in her application? So she would like to know what is the possible or estimated earliest starting date.
Dr. Tanya, would you like to take up this one? She'll be more in the know when it comes to these important dates.
Actually, the earliest starting date for semester 3 and only semester 3 will be the last date of your examination or the last date that your final assessment is due. Okay, you can begin at the next day, the day after your last final examination. Now, because obviously we don't have our final exam timetable yet, if you are doing final assessments, maybe from your lectures, you might already know the dates, right? If you have only courses with final assessments, it's easier for you to settle that right now. But because we don't actually know when's the last exam that you'll be taking, the safest date would be the next day after the end of the final exam period. So you can start the very next day after the final exam ends. That will be the earliest possible starting date. So my suggestion to you, to the students, and also in the chat box just now was just write in your application that you will be available from such and such date, because that will give the companies the opportunity to say maybe they want you to start a bit later, maybe they have their own dates and all that, because some companies, as I mentioned, some companies have preferred dates, and some really don't care when you join. But that will be your absolute earliest date will be the day after the final examination.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Tanya. We hope that the answer is okay for you, Aisha. Maybe she's gone.
She left. Maybe she left. Okay. Well, but
we've mentioned this before. Yeah, we've
let me
mentioned
add
this
to
before.
that though.
After you left,
Let me add to that though. It only applies for semester 3. Okay, it does not apply to the long semesters. For the long semesters, because there are enough weeks in a semester, you can only begin once the semester has actually started. You can only begin once the semester has started, because the semester 3 is shorter. So we give you a leeway that you can start early. But for semester 1, semester 2, if you're doing internship in the long semester, you have to wait until semester starts.
All right. We hope that not only Aisha, who's probably left, but also everyone to take note on that. So it's 5:28. There's actually 2 more questions if we want to be fast with it. So I'll just go ahead. So one question is from Afifa binti Adi Setia. She asked, Assalamualaikum, doctor. Is it too late for me to fill Form 1 and 2 by week 4 if I have only started to search for a company for the internship now?
The point is to submit as soon as possible. So if you've passed the first 4 weeks of SEM 2 for application for SEM 3, simply just do it as soon as possible. Don't wait until, the start of SEM 3. That's disaster. Okay, do it now as soon as possible, even if you've passed the 4 weeks. 4 weeks is, of course, what's normally expected of all students if they were to do their internship in SEM 3. But we are aware from the forms, we know that students haven't actually started applying. So this is the time. This is the time, really. All right, as quickly as you can, submit, find your placements, submit the application, and then, because sometimes you'll find that one application won't be enough for you. Sometimes you've applied for, say, 5 companies, but then suddenly none of those companies want to take you. You'll have to reapply again. So you'll have to send in Form 1 again with another set of companies. Okay, so as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, and as early as possible within the semester. All right, as if you hang on until the end of the semester, that's going to be really hard. The queue is going to be really long, okay, for those late applications, and that's not going to be very efficient also for us. Yeah, okay, so do it as quickly as you can, and as many as you can, in one application, and make sure that of course you've done your background search as well properly. Okay.
Right. Thank you very much, doctor. So the last question would be from Arisha binti Azli. So she said, Assalamu alaikum, doctor. I have received some replies from the companies I applied to, but most of them are looking for April and May intake and asked me to reapply for the position in May if I would like to start my intern in July. Should I still submit the Form 1?
Yes, if you have not nominated those companies yet. We will still need to vet the companies. Not really just about the companies that you want, but we need to know what they are, right? What companies, because sometimes you might be pursuing companies that might be blacklisted. We don't know, right? So we need to know. So whatever it is, whenever that is going to be, right? Apply, but inform us of those companies. Yes. And you still, and the question was that the student were asked to apply a bit later.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Still, if the student's still interested in that company, go ahead. But every company that you're applying to, please inform us, all right? Because we still need to vet. Yeah.
I think what she's saying is that she is applying. She wants to start her intern in July, but the company kind of asked her to apply
Reapply.
May, yeah. But then
May. In the meantime, I would encourage you to try to apply to other companies. There's so many companies out there looking for interns, right? So don't just get fixated on one company and then leave or miss the opportunity to apply to other companies in the meantime. She might be surprised to find there could be other better companies that are looking for her prior to May. Okay, so to hang on to May, that's going to be taking some time. In between, apply to other companies, right? Don't just wait for May. Yeah.
All right. I hope doctor answered your question, Arisha, or probably she's left too. It's 85 people by now. All right. So with that being said, that's basically all the questions that we received. Inshallah, the organizing committee will try to cater to all the participants just in case they have further questions. But I believe that we'll be having part 2 of internship briefing as well soon.
Yeah.
So
it's more like a pre-internship briefing, really, to alert all of you to please start applying. Start the process now. Don't wait. Yeah.
All right. We will try to make sure that we notify them on the event as well, inshallah. All right, so thank you very much, everybody who have participated in the Q&A session just now. Thank you very much, Dr. Tanya, Dr. Z, for your time and also for the answers. It's very, very much useful and very insightful, and we hope that everyone would utilize them well. All right, so before we leave, we would like to actually have a quick photography session, perhaps. So for the in-charge committee, you can take over for instruction, just for counting. So we kindly request anybody who's still here to open up your camera so that we could take a picture together. Sabrina will be taking the picture, right? Hello, Fasiha. Hello, Farah.
Okay, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, 1. Okay, that's all.
All right, so thank you very much, Sabrina, and thank you very much, everyone, for your cooperation. All right, so kindly note that the recording of today's briefing will be uploaded into the Internships Google Classroom as well as in the participants WhatsApp group. So be sure that the one who stayed to spread this around to your friends as well, who probably couldn't join us today. With that, we have now come to an end of our briefing session. We thank you again for allocating your time to join this briefing, to give briefing, and especially to both Dr. Tanya and Dr. Z for coordinating the session. Thank you very much. And we humbly apologize for the inconveniences caused, and we wish you all the very best for your future endeavors. Happy Iftar, everybody. My name is Asma Mudirawar, signing off as your MC. Stay safe and take care. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You guys may leave the session if you would like to.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor. Most welcome. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you very much.